I've been doing a piece this year on the tour at the Salem Choir called When Memory Fades. It's a text by the librettist is Mary Ellen Bringle, a theologian, and Eric Nelson, who's director of choral activities at Emory University in Atlanta, has crafted this beautiful piece tuned by Jane Southwood Cook. But it's Eric's setting that's so poignant. My mother in her final years had dementia and Alzheimer's. I will tell you the silence at the end of that piece, when I turn around and there's finally applause and I see people wiping their faces, and I know that the choir is saying to me, lose it. In rehearsal, the very first program on the tour, it goes to a place I can't control. And it's not an intricate piece in its musical setting, but it is one of the most, I've never seen, it's been few pieces that have impacted, in a 3.5-minute piece, impacted an audience the way that does. In the final years of my mother's life, she, as I've said to you, she battled with dementia. My final visit with my mother was in late December of 2006. She passed away on February 13th, 2007. And I spent that last day, I wanted to spend all day with her. And I went up early in the morning in the last 2 years of her life, we had to put her into a care facility. She had had some very clear days at Christmas time, but this morning I went in to be with her, and for almost over an hour, she was in the day room, the community room, and she didn't respond. It was as there was a veil. She didn't even know I was there. I talked to her. There was no recognition. She just kind of stared. And I finally took her back to her own room. And my brother always kept CDs in a boombox nearby, and I put on one of the Salem Choir albums, the Great Hymns of Faith 1. And she listened. She still didn't acknowledge anything. And we got to the piece that is often known as the signature piece for the Salem Choir. The founding conductor, Chris Johnson, created a beautiful setting, a beautiful Savior, the Crusaders hymn. And she didn't look at me, but for the first time in over an hour, she spoke. And she just said, I know that. I really know that. And my mother was not a wussy mezzo. She was a real contralto. She didn't often sing any solos, but she had sung that solo with the church choir. And when we got to that second verse, she opened her mouth and sang that solo. And then she got to the third verse, she sang her second alto part. Even things that my predecessors and I have changed. She sang what's in the music. And whatever was next, she got a little rattled, but her favorite gospel hymn was, and I sing because I'm happy, I sing because I'm free, for his eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Now, I can get through the first verse of that. I got to the second verse, I started stumbling, and that woman sang the whole second verse. And when we finished, it was like this veil was lifted. I've told the story many times because it really is amazing. And she looked at me and said, baby, when'd you get here? Now, I've been here for over 75 minutes at that point. And she said, you're looking real good. Somebody's feeding you real good these days, aren't they? But when medical science couldn't bring my mother back to me, those hymns that she shared with me, those songs brought my mother back to me. And the rest of the day, she was mommy. So the power of song, the power of communal song, is something that's very powerful to me. That was, for me, God's grace in that moment. As I work with young people, I just know that that's a gift that I've been given and I want to share with others.